Welcome to the Choice to Rise channel. Today, we're diving deep into something that I think touches every single one of us. How we actually achieve our goals, how we make real lasting change. You sent us some really fascinating material, stuff that seriously challenges a common belief about, well, what it takes to succeed. And we're definitely ready to unpack it all with you. For so long, the story's been like, success hinges on motivation, right? That fire in the belly feeling. But what if that's not the whole picture? Not even close, maybe. So our mission today is to cut through some of that noise and figure out what really drives consistent long-term progress.
That's right, and the goal with this deep dive really is to give you a clear, sort of actionable path forward. We want to show you how to move past that fleeting inspiration, that flash in the pan, towards something way more powerful. Predictable, sustainable progress. This is basically a shortcut to getting properly informed on something that could fundamentally change how you approach your biggest goals.
Okay, let's just jump right in then. Think about it for a second. How often have you felt that massive surge of excitement? That intense push to start something new, maybe a new diet, or launching that business idea, or finally going after a personal dream you've held onto. That feeling, that initial burst of energy, that's what we usually call motivation. And it feels amazing, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It gets you off the starting blocks.
It totally propels us forward, full of enthusiasm. But here's the kicker. The critical question our sources throw at us right away. What happens when that fire inevitably, fizzles out?
And that's precisely the core argument our material makes. Motivation is, maybe surprisingly, overrated. While it's fantastic for getting you started, it's fundamentally unreliable. It's just not a long-term fuel source. Think about how it behaves. It doesn't last, it fades, it gets tired. And it definitely disappears on those rainy mornings when you just want to stay under the covers or, those really tough days when everything feels like a slog. So if you're banking solely on motivation to carry you through, well, you're essentially setting yourself up for this cycle of burnout, inconsistency, and honestly, deep frustration. Our sources are really clear on this. It's just not a sustainable engine for the long haul.
Yeah, that rainy morning feeling. Wow, we've all been there, haven't we? It really hits home how, flimsy motivation can actually be. So if that initial spark isn't the lasting answer, what is? If motivation isn't the key to consistent progress, what really lets us show up day in, day out, no matter how we're feeling? Our source material has a pretty compelling suggestion, something that offers predictability where motivation just falls short.
Right, and this is where our material brings in the concept of a system. So what is a system? It's basically a structured process. Think of it as a repeatable framework. It's designed specifically to help you show up and do the work, whether you feel like it or not. That's the key part. The big shift here is moving away from relying on that temporary excitement, that hype, and instead embedding a consistent habit. It's really about creating a structure that dictates your actions, rather than letting your emotions call the shots every day.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense, especially when you think about it with that simple but really powerful analogies our sources give us. Brushing your teeth. You don't do that because you're suddenly super motivated by, a fresh breath campaign.
Right, there's no pep rally involved.
Exactly. No motivational speaker getting you pumped for your morning brush. You do it because it's a system. It's automatic. You've wired it into your day so well that skipping it just feels off, weird, almost incomplete. And our sources point out that this is exactly what high achievers do. They apply this same principle, not just to hygiene, but across everything.
Precisely. It's not limited to something as routine as brushing your teeth at all. High achievers apply this systems thinking across incredibly diverse, sometimes complex areas of their lives. We're talking fitness, writing, building businesses, nurturing relationships, even things like spiritual practices. They don't just cross their fingers and hope they'll feel like doing the work. No way. They build robust systems that literally carry them through those days when motivation is completely AWOL. It's really about designing your environment and your routine to support your goals regardless of your mood that day.
So it's not just what systems are, but why they're so critical. Our sources really dig into this, highlighting a core truth. The first big principle they emphasize is consistency beats intensity. Why is that? Why does that steady, maybe even quiet effort ultimately win out over those big sporadic bursts, even if those bursts feel really productive at the time?
It's just a fundamental truth about achievement, really. Look, anyone can go hard for a day. We've all done it. You get that burst of energy, maybe fueled by a new idea or a scary deadline. But the people who truly win, the ones who achieve significant, lasting results, they're the ones who consistently show up, day after day, for months, maybe even years. Systems break down your huge goals into small, manageable daily actions. They might seem tiny, maybe even a little boring sometimes, honestly. But they are incredibly powerful because they're consistent. Our sources give this perfect example. A motivated person might hammer out, say, 5 pages in a rush of inspiration, maybe once a week, maybe less. But a person with a system, they write just 1 page every single day. You do the math. 6 months later, who's got a book draft?
The person with the system. Wow.
Every time, every single time. It's the accumulation that matters.
That example just lays it out so clearly. It's not about the giant splash, it's the steady drip that eventually fills the bucket. And that flows perfectly into the second principle our sources highlight. Systems reduce friction. You know that feeling that, just don't want to, or when you get stuck just wondering what the heck to do next? That's friction, right? So what exactly is this friction when we're talking about goals? And how do systems actually help us push past it?
Yeah, that internal resistance you described, or that feeling that some tasks are just harder than they should be, that's friction.
Exactly. In the context of goals, friction shows up as things like mental resistance, uncertainty about the next step, or just decision fatigue from having too many choices. Systems are specifically designed to cut through all of that. When your plan is already laid out, like your workout clothes are sitting right there, your calendar has that time blocked off, maybe the first step is automated, there's just way less room for excuses. You're not wasting mental energy deciding what to do or trying to overcome that initial inertia. You're just executing the steps you already decided on. It's about making the path of least resistance the path towards your goal, not away from it.
And wow, our sources have this really powerful, almost sobering quote that pulls it all together. It says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Oof, that feels incredibly true. But why is it such a hard reality for so many of us to really grasp or put into action? It's a profound truth, yeah. And I think it's difficult because it asks us to shift our focus away from the shiny, exciting outcome, the goal, and towards the often less glamorous day-to-day process. Look, everyone has goals. Millions, billions of people have aspirations, dreams, New Year's resolutions, right? But far, far fewer have solid, resilient systems in place to actually support those goals. And the difference between those who just dream and those who actually do, the ones who turn aspirations into real results, it's often exactly this. The quality, the robustness of the system they've built to back it all up. Your goals point the direction, sure. But your systems are your daily reality. And in the long run, it's your reality that dictates your progress, not just your ambition.
Okay, so we definitely get why systems are so vital now. This is a serious game changer concept. But the obvious next question is, right, how do we actually build them? It might sound a bit daunting, but luckily our source gives us 4 clear, really actionable steps for you listening to start constructing your own engine for lasting change.
Yes, thankfully it provides a wonderfully practical roadmap. It's not mystical. The first step is start small, but start daily. And the key here, the absolute key, is to make whatever you're trying to build into a habit so simple, so ridiculously easy that you basically can't say no. Like if you want to read more, don't aim for a whole chapter right away. Just start with 5 pages a day. That's it. Want to get fitter? Forget the hour-long gym session for now. Try 10 minutes of bodyweight exercises every single morning. The consistency is everything on start. Much more than the initial intensity.
Okay, small and daily. Got it. What's next?
The second step is to tie it to a trigger. This is often called habit stacking. You might have heard of it. You basically link your new habit, the one you want to build, to something you already do consistently without thinking. So for instance, after I brush my teeth, I immediately read my 5 pages. Or after I have my morning coffee, I immediately open my journal. Linking these habits together creates this sort of natural rhythm. It removes the need to make a separate decision each time. When should I do it? That question disappears.
Ooh, piggybacking on existing habits. Smart. Okay, number 3.
Third, track progress, not perfection. This is huge. Systems really thrive when you can see them working, when you track them. Now, this doesn't mean you need a perfect streak every single day. Life happens. Use a calendar, use an app, a simple notebook, whatever tool helps you keep your streak visible and makes your progress tangible. The goal isn't flawless execution from day one. That's unrealistic. The goal is consistent effort and seeing that effort add up over time. Aim for progress, not this impossible ideal of perfection.
Progress, not perfection. I like that. It takes the pressure off. And the last step.
And finally, step 4 is review and tweak. A system isn't meant to be a rigid prison you lock yourself into. Think of it more like a living structure, and because it's living, you need to treat it that way. Take some time, maybe once a week, to review what's working for you and what's not. Be honest, adjust things, improve it. Keep it alive by adapting it to your life, rather than trying to force your life to rigidly conform to some blueprint that isn't quite right anymore.
So it's really not about these super rigid rules at all, is it? It sounds much more like building flexible structures, structures that actually empower you to show up, to do the work consistently, and yeah, to see real progress. It really does sound like this approach kind of liberates us from that tyranny of always needing to feel like it before we can get anything done.
That's exactly it. That's the transformative power you unlock when you commit to building and maintaining your systems. When you do that, you genuinely stop relying on fickle feelings. Waking up and checking your emotional weather forecast to see if you can be productive. You stop waiting for that mythical perfect time or that lightning bolt of inspiration that, let's be honest, might never arrive. Instead, you just start seeing results, not because you're always fired up and buzzing with energy nobody is, but simply because you're always showing up. It creates this incredible fundamental shift in how you approach your goals in your life.
And our sources point out some really compelling replacements that happen when you make this shift.
Yeah.
It actually says discipline replaces drama. Routine replaces regret. Progress becomes predictable. It's almost like putting your efforts on cruise control, but like in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Reliable forward motion.
Indeed. In the end, as our material puts it so well, motivation. It's a spark, it's fleeting, it's bright, it can definitely ignite something important, but it can't power the whole journey indefinitely. Systems, on the other hand, they are the engine. They are the consistent, reliable force that actually gets you where you want to go day after day through thick and thin. So the bottom line is, if you truly want lasting change, if you want to achieve those big, ambitious goals you have, build an engine, fuel it with those small daily actions, maintain it with that review and tweak process, and then just let it take you farther than motivation ever could on its own.
Wow. What an incredibly insightful deep dive. Really shifting the focus from just motivation to systems is the true secret for lasting success. And for you listening, this really means a clear, actionable path, a way to get consistent results, even on those tough days, those rainy mornings when motivation is just gone. It truly feels like it transforms that often frustrating journey of chasing goals into something predictable, something empowering.
Absolutely. And maybe the deepest dive, the thing to really ponder after this, is how just one small system, once you build it and apply it consistently, how that can become the foundational trigger for a whole cascade of other positive habits. It can genuinely transform not just one specific area, but the entire landscape of your goals. Think about it, like that well-oiled engine doesn't just power one trip, right? It powers the whole journey. That one daily page becomes a book. That book might inspire a daily walk for clarity. That walk leads to a healthier lifestyle. It all stems from that initial, small, consistent system.
That's a powerful thought to leave everyone with, a ripple effect. So if you found this deep dive as illuminating and as actionable as we did, we'd really love for you to hit that like button. Share it with someone you know who could maybe benefit from building their own engine for success. And definitely subscribe to the Choice to Rise channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into what matters most to you. Until next time, keep building those systems.